Shacking up. Shacking up. Mm-hmm. You live with Shaq. It's like real world with Shaq. Shacking up. Is that not the best?
I love it. or it could be used for a dating show that revolves around Shaq, like the one around
like the flavor of the month.
Yeah.
Or
flavor of love.
Flavor of love. Flavor of the month.
Well, about
it's accurate.
Yes, definitely. That's why we were both like, yeah, no way.
No way. Yeah. And what was the other one with the guy from Poison?
Oh yeah, what was the Bret Michaels?
Yeah.
What the hell was that terrible show called?
I don't remember.
Rock of Love.
Rock of Love.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
It's no shacking up.
Yeah, shacking up would have worked.
Flavor of the month too.
He's probably a big family man. I don't know.
Shaq?
Yeah.
I don't know either. Shacking up. Oh, that is...
Was that a height joke?
Brilliant.
Well, kind of. It works across all boards, kind of. Not as a joke, but... Everything else, it works, but not as a joke. Dude.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Signed In. I am Jeremy Superfro33.
I'm Craig Profdresser.
And I'm Sean Shonix.
Episode 114, by the way. I didn't mention it in my beginning. I know. I didn't want people to be lost.
This show's falling apart. I'm done.
Well, there's one.
I got a spoiler.
One down.
I've been done for about 13 episodes.
13?
Yeah.
You're like 100? Okay.
I tapped out.
Achievement.
That's
made.
good. Achievement unlocked. 100 episodes. That's all I wanted. Now I'm just farming other shit.
You're going for the Avatar prop?
Yeah, it's just other stuff. Like the really hard to get achievements. That one was like the big one.
Grinding.
Yeah, now I'm just grinding levels out. Up to 114, Jesus. All right, anyway, how are you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Good. Everybody's doing good.
Yep.
Yes.
We have some games to talk about this
Got
episode?
plenty of games to talk about.
I got some disc games.
Prove it.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Indie games. Retro Arcade Adventure Remade. Smatter. Death Go.
Oh, you don't have to name them
Rise
all.
of the Ravager.
Oh,
You want me to prove it, man.
I did put this on you.
You did call him out.
Don't you put that on me. I did put it on you. Sorry. Go ahead.
And then I also checked out all the XBLA stuff. I think all the XBLA stuff that came out in the past 2 weeks.
Even Double Dragon
all
2?
3 of them.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Even Double Dragon 2.
Oh. Spoiler.
That's when you need that little audio punch of her getting punched in the stomach. Right?
And then also tried the demo for Injustice Gods Among Us.
Yeah.
Cool.
I didn't know that was a DC game.
Kidding.
I'm kidding. I'm just joking.
What do you got, Sean?
I was going to touch back.
Prankster.
I didn't play much in XBLA. I was playing a lot of disc games. I'm going to touch back with Gears of War Judgment.
Yay.
Give my judgment on that.
I'll have plenty of
Get your
judgment for you.
on.
I'm judging you already.
I know.
Always.
I got to play.
That's not a revelation. I'm sorry.
I got to play some Bioshock, the Infinite one.
Yes.
And then
Of the infinite variety.
Army of 2, 3.
That's good. You get your money's worth when it's infinite.
It's not Army 2, 3.
Army of Michael Jordan.
No.
No.
That's-
Army of 23.
No.
Oh, my goodness.
That was terrible.
Come on.
Oh, my
If you say
goodness.
23, what goes with 20? No one goes.
You didn't say
it's usually-
23 yet, though.
But
said
2,
2,
3.
3.
It's the
It's all in
same
your
thing.
head.
They look the same.
the same thing.
If you write them on a chalkboard, it looks like 23 or 2, 3.
What's weird, though, is Michael Jordan's in the game.
He is in the game.
He
No,
is.
he's not.
Where's one of those face masks? He's got a basketball printed on it, actually.
He's dispatched for the army crew. He sends them out.
Army of
And then he
2,
makes slam dunk puns.
the Devil's Cartel.
Oh, that's right. It's an Army of 2, 3, Devil's Cartel.
No, there's not 3.
There's a 3 in there.
There's a 3 in the design, not in the title.
That's what I'm talking about. Why put in the design if you're not going to say it?
It's secret.
Because that's not a W.
It's clever.
It's not a
It's
W.
an Easter egg.
What do you mean?
I don't make a W with 3s. It's not Sean.
Have you thought about it?
Edding.
I've seen some of your stupid letters that you do. So it's probably not that far off.
What?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm trying to be mean. But you reacted, so you knew.
I used to. No, I thought you were just talking about how
He was like,
me-
maybe.
when I would drop the G and put the little thing in.
Oh, yeah,
That's what
apostrophe.
you thought. There you go.
That works.
Apostrophe. Apothecary table.
This is all an apostrophe.
This show, could we start over?
This is the third take.
All right.
What are you talking
That
about?
is true.
Let's get
Sadly, I've got
We've been doing this for an hour.
I've got nothing
already.
new than what you guys already mentioned. So, so I
That's
guess
what you get for
we
going
win.
last.
I'm an idiot.
You call us out.
I did play some DLC Quest.
Oh, did you
Yeah,
finally get
I
around to
loved
that?
it.
Nice.
Oh, it's awesome. I played through the whole thing.
Excellent. Did you try the other games that you were like, I should try this out?
What,
Like
like
Darkstalkers?
100,000 of them?
Yes.
That I in the past that I've said that about?
Yes.
No, DLC Quest is the only
Accountability.
one. It's the only one.
Accountability, Jeremy.
Has never meant anything on the show, and everybody knows
true.
it. Accountability for nothing. If how many of these shows end with me going, "Yeah, I'm going to play more of that game, and I'll talk about it next time," and then never talk about it again. Somebody do a count.
Okay.
Spoiler: it's all of them. It's all the games.
It's you more than likely do what you don't say, so it always works out.
That's true.
Like we didn't talk about playing Army 2, and we got to play it.
Right.
Had we
Sorry,
talked
I
about
didn't
it,
play it. It's a
Yeah.
switcheroo.
Whatever.
Whoa.
We just flipped the script on everybody.
but we got together and actually played together online.
We did play some co-op.
Yeah, we played some.
How weird
co-op.
is that?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. And had we mentioned it last show that we would get together and play it, we wouldn't have got.
I'm confused now. I can't follow the timeline.
No,
Have we split off to a different
it's
timeline? now?
Crisis.
Crisis of Infinite Studios.
Speaking of Infinite Studios,
Yes. Before we start talking about the games, there's a couple things programming wise to mention. Key being that our show,
Apparently, we're calling this programming now. We're very official.
there's quotes. You can't see it because it's audio, but there were air quotes there.
Okay.
Programming. Entertainment.
and I don't know what this means.
Informative.
Spoken, informative entertainment. It's kind of like our branding for wrestling, where it's like sports entertainment. This is spoken, informative entertainment. Conversations. Conversations.
Well,
conversations.
no, the
Give a guy
conversation
a
worked. That conversation is.
No, it's still in
Oh,
quotations.
okay.
These are all recorded individually. I piece it all
That's right. We've
together.
already talked about that. We don't talk. We don't sit in the same room. No. Anyway, what I'm getting to is that April is a busy month for all of us here on Signed In.
Correct.
Well, maybe not Sean, but for me and
It's pretty
Craig.
busy, but-
So Craig's got a fake wedding in 2 weeks.
That's right.
A celebratory wedding
Yes.
that we're all partaking in.
Yes.
And the week after that, I'm in Austin, Texas for a week. So stalk me there. And then May, like Free Comic Book Day hits. I don't know what's going on with that yet. So the point of this being is that this is probably our only show for April. And we're sorry for that ahead of time.
Yes.
But there's a lot going on. If we can work it in, we'll try to. But
Yeah,
just to
yeah.
give
Yeah, we
everybody
are going to try.
just to give everybody a heads up, this might be all that we have for a couple weeks. We might have a little extended hiatus at the end of the month, but we'll keep everybody abreast on it. Or
Breast.
sorry,
We're going to depress everybody.
we'll keep
Get out
everybody
knives.
we'll keep everybody abreast of the situation. Is that better?
Yes.
Thank you. On Facebook, on Twitter, all the usual places on our
Yeah.
forums. So on our actual website,
To cross
So
all of them.
You'll know if you follow us somewhere where we're at with the show. On the back end of that, we also are changing our current studio setup. So we're splitting. With where we have our recording now is no longer going to be the case.
Right.
So we're actually making. I guess we coin it east or north and south.
Sure.
We're going to have a
Yeah.
north studio and a south studio.
Yes.
I'm going to work on those emblems.
You should. Let's get those logos going so we can brand it on everything. However, the while that's good in some aspects, it's also causing us to basically duplicate our equipment.
Right.
So we are having to double the amount of equipment that we use currently for our recording. All of this boiling down to if you guys can donate anything, we'd love to take it. We don't normally like to ask for that kind
Yeah.
of stuff,
True.
and
There's no tin cup in front of us.
it's still happening. I
Mine's
mean, we're going to
glass.
duplicate the equipment. But if you've never given to the show, there's a donate button on our website. And if you can do that, anything you can do in the next couple of weeks is going to be the most important since we started doing this show.
Yeah.
Because we are having to basically duplicate everything that we use to record.
Right.
So every little bit's going to help. And we'll lessen it a little bit on our behalf because it's still going to require a lot from us individually. So I'm going to be putting out a blog post as well that gives more of the specifics. If you have any questions, you can email us anytime at comments@signedinpodcast.com. Hit me up on Twitter at signedinpodcast. Hit us on the Facebook page, on our forums, anywhere. Reach out and let us know, and we'll be happy to answer any questions for you. But I'll have a blog post coming soon. So take a look at that donate button, and if you can find any spare room or spare change there to make room for us, that'd be much appreciated.
Yeah, and again, we're always going to produce our shows for free, and it's never going to be a subscription or anything like that. And
well, who would pay for this? Oh wait, that's probably bad time. Bad timing on my behalf.
But
sorry.
If you've appreciated what we've done and the work that we've put into this, anything you can find in your hearts to give to us.
Yes, and work was in quotes.
Yeah.
That was another one of those. Work we've done. And we're keeping ad free always.
Yes.
Never any advertising.
That's right.
Except for our fake ads that we never do.
Those sponsors that are knocking on our doors constantly, we're like, no, we are independent.
Honestly, though, I've had a couple.
Oh, yeah?
And we've had, perfectly honest, which we would never really talked about this, but we've had a couple offers to go with other places.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Incorporate our show into websites and things like that.
Yeah.
And at that point, we talked about it and looked at it, but it was more important for us to remain independent and do our own thing and not be under any control.
Fuck.
Independent as fuck. That's right. That's going to be our new tagline. Can you work on that?
Mostly we want to preserve our ability to say fuck as many times.
Can you work that into the logo?
I'm gonna
for the pseudo radio.
I will
South,
make an army
independent
of,
as fuck.
An army of 2 face masks that says independent as fuck on it.
Thank you.
Wow, that's going to be impressive.
I will make it work.
A lot of
with
letters.
our logo in the middle.
Yes.
Independent as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, these logos you're going to design, they're just going to go on army of 2 face masks. Is that what there's
any face masks?
Hockey masks.
It's just on that game. Sorry.
Great advertising.
the most we can do.
It's just what I've been customizing lately. So, I mean, I can do that. I can make it work.
So, regardless,
Yes.
Independent as fuck.
it's important for us to remain what we do, untethered, and so that we can run down games if they're terrible. Mm-hmm. I don't want to feel like pressure from that.
Right.
Which we don't often do that. We're pretty positive guys.
Yeah.
I'm a negative person, but here I remain pretty balanced, right?
Pretty much.
Anyway, anyway, that'll be more information on that forthcoming. So just take a look if you can, and we appreciate everything from you guys, all of you guys, and ladies.
That's right.
I don't want to exclude anybody, and babies,
Especially not the ladies.
You and your sexist language. Come
know,
on.
right?
Using guys as a gender neutral term.
You guys,
Done.
Quote.
I quit again.
Again.
It's my second
Craig,
time
come
this
back.
episode. All right, fine.
All right, let's talk about some games. How about that?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Indie games?
Because you got it. You can't quit now.
Games.
You can quit after indie games.
Yeah.
Because you got all of them. So get on it.
You guys have none?
No, I have none.
Dude, I looked at a
hate
couple.
you both.
I know.
I did the same.
I looked at a couple and they didn't do anything for me.
You didn't even look at Retro Arcade Adventure Remade?
I didn't see that.
Which
was there a terrible cover to it?
I don't think it was terrible, no.
Okay. Maybe I'm just an idiot.
But
It's possible.
You remember Retro Arcade Adventure, right? From Cyactro, which was like the single screens, hack and slash. You had buttons where you could turn into a giant king barbarian dude who had a long sword and
Oh yeah, I do remember
and
that.
then you could like summon lightning and basically you had to wait for waves of guys to come in and you finished them off.
Yeah, I
and
do
then-
remember that.
Yeah.
Now that you say that.
So this is the remade version.
Jeremy's used to waves of guys coming in and him finishing them off. I'm sorry, I had to say it. I had to say it. Okay, we can move on. That'll get cut. It's all right.
It's not going to get cut. We don't cut. We don't edit. We're indie as fuck.
That's going to be the tagline for this episode, at least, apparently. It sells for 80 points. Now, if you tried out Retro Arcade Adventure, and I hope you did after we talked about that way back when, it was a really nice boiled down version of like classic arcade gameplay with some really funny elements in there as well. And you may be thinking, well, why would I spend another 80 points on this remade version? Because
An entire $1.
Because it is actually very different.
Cool. Nice.
You get to choose from different characters. Wolfman is my favorite.
Wolfman.
Just by the name, I like him already.
It's not. That's the name I gave him. He looks like a Wolfman, so I'm
All right,
guessing
well,
he might be a Batman.
Now I'm in 50%.
And it doesn't give you that sort of prologue that you got with the first one. That was sort of the basic story setup and why you could turn into a giant hulking barbarian king and stuff like that. Instead, you're just kind of. There's a bit of a story where you're just wandering around and all of a sudden this blimp flies across with this jester-looking dude who's evil, and then he starts sending it monsters down below, and so that's about it.
Sometimes you don't need setup.
Sometimes you don't.
What was the storyline for why things were happening in Mario?
Because princess.
Yeah, but you still had people throwing stuff at you, and you're like, all these dudes are set up. Come on, that's all you need.
Because you're Italian. It
was a racist.
It's commentary on racism.
My God, it was terrible.
Yeah,
that's a good point. You just made Mario sad for me. Anyway, sorry.
To get back to this game, sorry. Yeah, so you go through levels, and then there are like boss levels as well. And I don't remember that being in the original game.
I don't remember either.
But there are these huge bosses that will come onto the screen and fight, and there's lots of there's a wide variety of things that you have to do for that. They've changed up the power-ups a little bit, and so power-ups last only a short while, but there's a decent variety of them. There's one where like this 80-looking dude and like a line of clones just comes from the top of the screen and wipes everybody out, or you can get like this spear that you can spin around and like kill dudes all around you and stuff. So there's a lot of fun stuff going on in there. I haven't made it too far in there. Some of the bosses are actually kind of hard, but then in addition to that, there's a lot more going on graphically. You can count more graphics in there.
More graphics.
And it does look a little messier than the original one did. The original one was really going for that clean, simplified look. And here they've tried to sort of progress with that, and it works. But then in addition to that, there's 2 mini games installed. I actually didn't play both mini games because I only played the mini games when I was still doing the trial version. And one of them was locked, although it looks like you're a wizard walking around and you can't in a dark cave and you can't see much around you except this one circle. And so I don't know if you're sneaking around or if you're trying to not run into enemies or what's going on. But the other one was a mini RPG where there's like 4 dungeons and a village, which is basically an inn, and then you're a dude, and there's random encounters, and so. Once you go into a dungeon, you can't get back out, but you're trying to get this orb at the end. It's one screen dungeon. You just kind of have to walk around. And the battles are just attack and run. And so, you level up and you have different strength, but you don't get to really see those stats. And so, I don't know, it was a bit of a math problem at certain points because it's like I need to level up some more. So I actually did a little bit of grinding, but it didn't take that long to do that. It was just a quick little fun thing. I enjoyed that one quite a bit.
Cool.
But the whole thing is really well done if you like those. It feels more robust than the first Retro Arcade Adventure.
And still $1.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Exactly.
Cool.
Then I also tried out Smatter, developed by No Eye Hand Games, also sold for 80 Microsoft points. So this is top-down twin-stick shooter dungeon crawler. And so the twin-stick shooter part uses kind of futuristic looking shapes, and the whole thing looks kind of technological. It's got that bright neon Radiant Games-esque feel to it, and plays pretty well. The controls work really well, and so you're this disc, basically patrolling around in these dungeons, and you can't see everything around you. It's got kind of a highlighted area that's in a certain radius around you, and then there will be these enemies that will spawn other enemies, and you have different rates of fire. So you can do this concentrated burst, or you can do like a widespread shot, and but that affects how you move, and they only last for a certain amount of time. Then you're searching around for like keys and looking for hidden rooms and flipping switches and going through teleporters and trying to make your way through the dungeon. It's pretty good. It's got nice music. I enjoyed the design of the game, and I have to admit, I got thrown for a loop at first because when you finish a level, basically it looks like you explode, and so I thought I had died at first when that happened, because the first level is actually really short, and then I thought I had died. I'm like, oh, I must have died because there was a bunch of enemies around. I'm like, I thought I got them all, but I guess not. And so then I started. I thought I was having to start over again.
Yeah,
but the area was different. So at first I thought it was a roguelike that was just going to randomize, and I got really excited by that. But no, the levels are preset, and I guess there are like 13 of them or something like that.
Bad.
And it boasts a new game plus. It's pretty solid. And if you're missing Radiant Games from the indie marketplace, since
I am,
he's given up on that. Check this one out.
Cool.
Smatter.
I will check
Honor
it out.
Runs. Which is a questionable title.
What is it again?
Smatter. Honor Runs.
Honor Runs. I don't like the idea of smatter and runs
together.
Exactly, right?
in a title at
Right?
all.
It's like
it has to be done on purpose. Right?
Precisely.
poop.
Sean, it is like poop.
Wait, what? I just made that connection.
It's like diarrhea poop.
Yeah, there you go.
Sean nailed
The
it.
game is not, though.
No,
The game is
but it's not. But the name.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I see what you're
would
saying,
agree.
Sean.
Sure.
It's kind of hard, but
No, it's not. It's the opposite.
Smatter
true.
and run. Okay.
God, I hate you guys.
You do not.
Death Goat, developed by Nocturnal Studios. This one sells for 240 Microsoft points. This is another top-down twin-stick shooter, very much in the vein of I made a game with zombies in it.
I almost took a look at this one. But I looked at the screenshots and I read the description and I decided not to.
It's quite a bit of fun. It doesn't take itself super seriously. It is a metal, a heavy metal sort of medieval-ish, well, not really, but
The description says something about
heavy
like
metal fantasy.
ear-piercing or ear-shattering heavy metal music, and I was out.
I like the music.
Okay, good.
It's got genuine tracks from, bands.
Terrible bands.
I don't listen very much to heavy metal, but they were the ones that you could listen to in the demo were pretty good. The demo's pretty short, is the most disappointing thing for it. It doesn't last very long. I think it's set to a certain kill count or a certain point value, and it's surprisingly low.
Okay.
But it's a pretty basic twin stick shooter in terms of concept. There doesn't seem to really be any story other than you choose a character and just start shooting these demon things that are crawling across the screen. Pick up power ups to get new weapons. The weapons are pretty slick. I never found one that was like a super dud. You know how those can be sometimes in these games.
You're like, not the laser.
There is a laser, but this one seemed to be pretty good.
See, and that's awesome.
And then there's like this lightning chainsaw or something you can have as well as you're running around.
I like lightning and chainsaws. So
It all fits pretty well along with the music pumping in the background, and the design level is stupendous.
Cool.
I'm guessing the 240 is both from the music licensing, but then also from the graphics that they've done. It's it's pretty gory and stuff, but it's done in sort of this dark humor-ish kind of way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like when you finish off enemies, they don't just vanish or anything like that. They're split open and then their carcass is lying there.
that's good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need that.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
And even the menu, the front menu is highly, highly polished, and it's also a little tongue in cheek at itself.
Cool.
It's
Nice.
got like umlauts stuck into places, and where they shouldn't be, and all that stuff. So. I think it's actually quite a bit of fun. My only issue is just that I already have a bunch of this genre of game, so I'm not really seeing whether or not I would devote a lot of time to playing it. However, it is something definitely worth checking out if you like that kind of game.
Yeah, I was looking at the screenshots
It's
of
a
it.
super high quality
Especially
game.
since it says, the title has grabbed me right off the bat.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Death
awesome.
Goat.
But I didn't download. I
There's
didn't
also
try
a
it
death
out.
witch, a death granny, a death kitty, and a death tank.
I saw somebody
Death
in a
Kitty.
I saw somebody in a wheelchair.
That's the death granny.
Yeah, so I assume.
There's a death tank too. Those were all locked for the demo though.
I'm gonna try it out then.
There's apparently 3 worlds for it, and but I don't know how long each world can go on.
Yeah.
So it's really designed more for the arcade funness,
Yeah.
fun aspect of it, just to replay over and over again, and you can choose the music or you can have it randomized.
Cool.
I thought it was really good.
Awesome.
I'll check it out.
I liked
Thanks,
it.
Craig.
You are welcome. Quit hating.
I'm not. I was
on
hating.
metal.
I'm sorry. I was hating on metal.
That's a little
It
different.
wasn't quite like that.
Okay, good. No Cookie Monster.
Last one I have is Rise of the Ravager by Gentleman Squid Studio, who you may remember from 3 Dead Zed, which we talked about last year, I believe. This sells for 80 Microsoft points. This is I've forgotten the name for this genre, but it's like. Was it Missile Command? Was that the game where things were coming down from the
Yeah.
top and you had a turret and you were trying to blast them? It's that genre of game.
Okay. I don't know if there's a title for that genre.
Missile Command.
Missile Command type.
Yeah.
Yes.
Missile Command type game.
Missile Command like.
Rollerball game.
Roller.
The roller.
Oh, there
In the
you go.
arcade.
I'd always
got it.
pinch
And you
my
pinch your
hand.
hand?
It fucking hurt, man.
course.
Ow.
See what happened now?
No hand pinching here. It's
like on that
just
Crystallis.
supreme design.
Awesome.
So they've given it sort of this alien, Mayan Aztec, I'm not sure exactly which aspect to it, where, you know, these ancient people had, you know, contact with the gods, but they, you know, somebody re-signaled it, and so now they're coming back and they're raining death basically down on Earth, and so you're trying to defend them with this ancient weapon. And so the way it works is that you have your one turret. You can play multiplayer as well. I think it's just local, though. I can't quite remember. Okay. And so your turret has basically a crosshairs cursor thing that you're moving around the screen. You can line it up with the enemies, or you can just line the line up with them. Yeah. And just blast. I mean, you do have to account for, you know, movement, because your shots take a little bit of time to get across the screen and all that. But what's very interesting is that all the enemies have a color, and so you have to color coordinate your shots with the enemies.
Wow, okay.
There are 2 control schemes that you can do this. You can do this with the shoulder buttons, but what I preferred greatly was using the buttons on the right side of the controller, because they were all color-coded to the colors.
Nice.
So
so you can switch on the fly with those.
Yes, but what else was really nice was, and it's not really switching, you just press it and it'll fire that shot.
That
oh, even better.
It's not like you have to make a switch and then fire your primary fire button.
That's awesome.
Pressing that button will fire that color shot.
Smart.
And what's really nice is that the reticle that you have on the screen constantly displays what the buttons color scheme are. Oh, so you're never required to really remember it necessarily. And so you have these you know, Mayan, Aztec, sorry, I can't remember which looking things, you know, crashing down, and they're pretty great. They look like giant rock spaceships and stuff, and you're blasting them, and sometimes they'll shoot out an escape pod that's a different color, and you can try to shoot that for extra points. And then the, you know, faster enemies are coming in, and basically you can take 3 hits down below, and then once you're done, you gain points based on how well you did, and then you can spend those points to upgrade your stuff. Cool. And so, like, if you save up a lot of points, you can get like extra turrets or fire bombs and things like that. Nice. My personal favorite, though, was just pumping it all into increasing rate of fire at the beginning. Yeah. That way I could just shoot. So it didn't matter if I missed the shot. Although, for a lot of the enemies, the slower moving enemies, it's actually much better just to line up a shot and, you know, fire off one shot, I found. I love the look of it. It really does a really nice job of being visually interesting, and there's like the background to it, and it's great. So you have like these smoking rock ships coming down towards you, and then in the background you can see like these silhouettes of other ones crashing on the other side of the mountain, and so, you know, it really feels like something big is going on there. It's not
and
just,
there's depth to it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's nice.
I liked that a lot. And, you know, it appears that you can also just I talked about the upgrade stuff, so you spend the points on the upgrades, and they cost a certain number of points, but you can cash those points back in and, you know, just funnel them. Let's say, you know, you wanted to pump all your money into increasing the power of your shots in the beginning, which is kind of pointless since they all take one shot. Yeah. But then you're like, well, this is pointless because they all take one shot. So then you can just cash those points back in and then spend them elsewhere.
So you're not locked into it, which is nice.
So you're not screwed in that sort of way.
Cool. I love those games that let you adjust that stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, no, I don't want that. And you just take it away.
They do a really nice job of explaining.
Cool.
It's a simple concept. But they really do a nice job of explaining it at the beginning of the game. It's a really well crafted game. I highly recommend checking it out.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that it for indie?
Yes.
You got more?
No.
You had to go on that whole run. I apologize.
No problem.
Sean, do you have indie?
No.
And I played
You guys are not indie as fuck.
We are not. Well,
I played some indie and it was fucked up.
Oh, so you don't want to talk about it?
No.
Maybe you should. No, we don't like to.
I don't remember the name.
I can look it up.
That's how bad it was.
I know. Oh, I can look it up too.
I already mentioned DLC Quest. I did play that from last episode. I loved it. Good. I don't really have a lot to add because you guys already covered everything.
Did you get the DLC character?
I don't know that I did. Because I didn't get everything. I know I missed a couple.
Neither did I.
I missed a couple things and a bunch of coins somewhere, and I don't know how I missed them because I thought I got everything.
I think I got all the coins. I just didn't get everything.
But the DLC character, I don't think I ran into an option for that. I'll have to though.
It's the 7-Up spot. I'm just kidding. I haven't got.
It's the Noid actually.
I do like. I do like the guy though, the annoying guy who does
Lamp.
all the Lamp who does all the stuff, and then he's like, "Did you hear about the cake?" and you guys like, "No, don't,
don't.
It's stop, don't say it." It's a lie. I love that. I mean, it was just funny.
Yeah.
All that stuff was funny. So
I wish you could murder him at that point.
not at that point. Not for free, son.
Yeah.
All right. So move on to XBLA then.
Yeah. Do we want to start off with Terraria?
Sure.
Terreria.
It's already been said, so we can start off with it.
Terreria.
This is developed by Engine Software BV, sells for 1,200 Microsoft points. This was originally released on the PC and is actually very cheap on the PC now because it's been out for a while.
And on the Xbox, it's $15.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1,200.
That's interesting.
But, you know, some people don't.
But
you know,
Minecraft did good, so they want to get that extra $5.
It did. Well, yeah. Well, and so you kind of buried the lead a little bit there.
Sorry.
But if you're unfamiliar with Terraria,
Which I am.
It's similar to Minecraft in that there is mining, there is crafting,
Yes.
but this is all done on a 2D perspective.
See, I'll tell you what, I stayed away from this game because
Platformer.
I was extremely intimidated by the building aspect.
Right.
And so when I looked at it, I didn't really know anything about it. I don't play anything on the PC side for
Yeah.
the most part. So I don't really look into those games, but when they hit the Xbox, then I, obviously pay a lot more attention.
Sure.
But when I looked at it, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to build a bunch of shit. I can't do that because I'm stupid. And so I don't end up playing it at all. Is it based on you have to build things? I mean, is like you said, is it basically Minecraft? Because I stay away from Minecraft because it's intimidating to me.
There is a lot of monster hunting, and I guess
Yeah.
there's also some PvP gameplay in there if you want to do that.
Okay.
But to do that, you're going to need to craft decent weapons.
Okay.
And you probably are going to need to craft a shelter for yourself
Yeah.
at night. Or if you're like me and you kind of got yourself stuck down in the bottom of this floating island, you just kind of seal up the cave you have landed yourself in.
Wait to die?
I went to the bottom of it. I kept digging.
I sense that space mining game that I played.
You just get stuck in a hole.
I fell for the longest time.
Did you go out at the bottom of the floating island?
Yeah, I didn't know if maybe that was another room, and I just kept falling.
And what happened?
You know what I
Did you
did?
hit ground eventually?
Water, and then you just drowned out.
Yeah. You know what I did because I wasn't sure as well is that there was luckily a small pool in there and there's water, there's physics in the game.
Yeah.
And so I knocked a hole in the ground and watched to see if the water fell and I'm like, all right, I'm not going down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my thing though too is that I feel that maybe Minecraft would be easier in this kind of format. Because my problem with Minecraft was visualizing things
I'm right there
in a
with you.
first person's perspective.
Yeah, no, and that is definitely easier. And you can switch between just kind of a directional pushing thing, and if you click down the right stick, I think, then you get a direct cursor. So
I think so.
You can be sure where you're placing objects.
Okay.
So you can be very certain about that. And yeah, you're right. You don't have to think in 3-dimensional, although you do need to put like a back wall on your structures and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I was a little like with Minecraft to me, like I'm in the same boat as you, Jeremy, where it's kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
This game it was fun. I just sat. I haven't bought it. I mean, that's pretty pricey.
Yeah.
For me. I do like the fact that it's 2 to 4 player multiplayer, and that's online or local, which is pretty cool. Not local. I think it's just online. I think it's co-op and then it's multiplayer. So then there's the verses. But I liked I built this giant spire out of dirt because I had a hard time building like getting stuff to connect right. So then,
really?
Yeah, I don't know what it might have been just my problem, but I still was having fun with it, and I just made this giant tower, and then I had to put a hole in the tower so I can actually get through after I fell off of it. Well, jumped off of it. So, I mean, visually wise, I thought it was. I mean, it's cool looking.
Yeah.
It's got that. It's got that classic look to it. But then you get
It's very
stuff.
chunky pixels.
Yeah. And
See, and that's why I like the art style of it a lot
right.
because it's that retro look. But the creation thing is what scares me about it.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think it translates quite as well to a console as it does on the PC because, with the PC you have the mouse, and so that direct control of constructing things. I could see building things very quickly and, having that not be much of a chore with a mouse very simply. But with the controller, you do have to manipulate things a lot more. You do have to kind of, guide your character over, or, at least it's, I'm trying to move the cursor over there. Oh, it just went one too far.
Yeah.
Let's try to push it back.
Yeah.
There's a little of that fiddling going on there, which is a little sad. But it is. I would agree with Sean. It is much more. I had much more of a fun sense with it.
I felt like I could Which I
it felt
felt
more
with,
like a game.
Yeah, well, which with Minecraft it does too, but it's that I think what pulls me off about Minecraft is that third person, not first person. I mean, is that aspect to it, and it seems so huge. Whereas this seems big, but you can kind of stay in one spot and maybe do some stuff, and then once you start digging, just make sure you make steps and stuff like that so you can get back up to where you were.
That's how I got stuck in that cave.
Yeah. So like visually wise, I thought it was like it's very enticing. If the price is just not enticing for me. I think it's a little just a little too much.
And what do you do with multiplayer? Do you guys know? Do you just get in and mess around with each other's towns?
Yeah, I mean you can work with each other to build things. People. It said something about like if you build a house big enough, then people can come into it.
That's crazy.
Stuff like that. But then I think there is also a PvP mode where you're fighting with the weapons you've crafted and all that.
That sounds annoying.
Or you could be teaming up to go against monsters. Who knows?
I like just hanging out and messing around with stuff, but I don't want to fight anybody.
Well, I think it's a separate mode, so it's not like you're going to be.
Yeah, but I don't want it.
I like the. I like when you chop down trees and they turn into all the little
pieces of wood. It rains down.
It's
on
awesome.
You get like 18 pieces of wood out of a tree.
And I tried setting one tree on fire. I got the branches going, but it never went ablaze. But I did like the physics part. You were talking about the water. Yeah. Like I made like this pool underground, like really out of a large pool of water. I made like a really deep like pool, and then I went in and I couldn't get out. I drowned.
You're stupid.
I mean, I started digging, but I couldn't dig anymore. Because I made the walls too big on the side.
So basically just a kill simulator.
A little bit, yeah.
So like
for me.
So you can kill yourself.
For me, it's that way. But most games are.
But accidental. It's more like an accidental death simulator.
Well, it's these kinds of games that you want to push to their limits and see how much can I do?
Yeah,
before things go wrong.
Which the limits are usually your death.
Right.
And I kept saying, how tall can I build this spire? Because it was enough to put enough for me to be on. That about as big as it was. And I kept going up and up and up. I'm like, okay, well, no atmosphere yet. So it's been awesome.
You run out of oxygen, you guys just fall.
But
cool.
It's wildly popular on the PC.
Yeah, I could imagine.
I might and I'm sure that's getting a lot of shit then for being $15 on
probably
XBLA too. Then
it could be, but
who knows? But
Minecraft was the same way, and it's done phenomenally.
I'm glad to hear, and I'll check it out now.
Yeah,
that you guys said that it's fun to mess around with.
Yeah, give it a try. I
appreciate it.
It didn't seem like it was that. I mean, there are times where I'm like, I'm sick of building, so I just ran around killing slimes.
See, yeah, I had a problem with the building at first. And I think if I gave it some more time, I got myself a little frustrated about it, and then I just was like, oh, I'm just gonna dig a hole and do this and do that, And
I'm gonna drown myself. Now I feel better.
But I made this cool ledge off of this other wall to connect, and I already dug a hole, and then I cleared out the whole top section, and I was working.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of work, though.
It does, but then you get to build stuff, and
Okay, I'll look at it. I'll take a look at it.
But I just wanted to put. I
promise on this one.
I wanted to put out
when have I ever lied?
A workbench, but I couldn't because I didn't have a house.
Yeah, you got to have a house to put a workbench.
I know, and I was like, man, I realized that. I was like, I don't want to build a house.
Put a door on there.
See,
stick a torch on the wall.
That's a game I could
burn it down.
Exactly. I burn my house down.
I understand why.
Build a Yoda house out of mud.
Why the open sandboxy aspect of it is intimidating, but you are a customization lover, and I think that would really appeal to you.
The side scrolling of it really,
I think that simplifies it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a much simpler aspect of it, or a simpler representation of that.
That's why I'm in
stuff. Yeah,
that's why I want to check it out now.
Yeah, I think you should.
Because whenever I look at Minecraft and I see people building like statues of Lego guys,
like building awesome stuff.
Yeah, and I get pissed because I know I can't do
right. Like
I could do that.
The guy who made the exact replica of the USS Enterprise in it. And it's like to scale.
People who make working computers.
Yes. That make like actual functions and like actually compute.
This seems a little less towards that aspect and a little more towards customize this game to your preferences. Yeah, cool. Like I said before, it feels more gamey than Minecraft did. Minecraft felt more like a sandbox where you had perils every once in a while.
Cool.
But this feels more like a straightforward game.
Awesome.
$10, I probably would have bought it flat out.
All right.
Probably.
$5 is that much of a difference?
$5 to me, yeah. It's a pretty
we draw strange lines in the sand.
I do.
In our lives. I said we. All of us together.
It's bad. It's weird. All right. Moving on.
Double Dragon 2.
Double Dragon 2 now with unclothed characters made more sexy. Or whatever it says.
Okay.
I didn't
Right?
see
No,
the
they're
write-up.
undressed from the 80s.
Undressed from the 80s and now made more sexy time. Isn't that what it says?
Something like that. Jeremy is making fun of the copy that comes with the game as you look at it in the marketplace. This was developed by Gravity and distributed by a Korean company, so I'm guessing it's a Korean-made game.
Okay.
Altogether, it sells for 800 Microsoft points. As the description touts, it is basically the same. Is exactly the same story as Double Dragon 2.
But they have add more character and enemy.
Yes,
Add more stage and character. Or something. It's a terrible
I think
translation.
there's more action.
It's amazing.
And things like that.
The
And
translation thing's amazing.
it does continue into the game a little bit too. It's not really predominant. It's not quite as heavy as that copy was.
I wish.
But yeah, and so it's Double Dragon 2.
It's terrible though.
It's
I
pretty
played the
bad.
demo and I didn't like it at all. I thought it
No.
was terrible.
I mean, Double Dragon Neon
Well, yeah.
had slow moving characters, and I remember when they were first showing gameplay videos, that was what everybody was bitching about. These guys move so slow, but you know, when you're playing the game, you don't really feel it at all. And there is a bit of a there's a dash function as well.
Yeah. And it gets over the top.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's visual things for you to look at. Things are constantly happening, so
Yeah.
it's not like you feel like, ugh, I have to walk over here.
Yeah.
Double Dragon 2, that's exactly how I feel a lot of
Yeah.
times. It's like, here's this room where the enemies are going to come in, and now let me walk slowly over here to this other room where the enemies are going to come in. And everything just feels so repetitive. You know, the enemies are all very uniform looking, like they don't seem to be doing any different sorts of attacks. And then there's that really short rock music loop that continually goes over and over.
And you mentioned that they
over.
don't seem to be doing any different attacks, and
Yeah.
that's even outside of regular Double Dragon. Like, you at least had the characters that look different, and they fought you differently.
Right,
These guys all look differently, and they all attacked me the same.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't see anything different happening within the different characters that look. And so it was like, off the bat, I was just like, well, they're just different skins. They're doing the same thing.
Yeah, the enemies really love to do the sneak up behind or walk up behind you and punch you
And
aspect
well,
that you had in those arcade games.
Here's the other problem I have with it is the Double Dragon. I didn't play Neon outside of the demo, so I don't remember how that worked. But you dealt with Double Dragon. Double Dragon fighting was always on a plane, right? So you could go up and down, and you kind of had to get on the right line with the person.
Yeah.
In Double Dragon 2, and I don't know how this worked in Neon if it was the same way, but they can circle you.
Yeah.
So now you can get attacked from below and above.
There are 8 directions now in Double Dragon 2. That was not in Neon.
And that is terrible in this game
It is.
because you're so accustomed to in Double Dragon where you would just kind of go up and down and kind of keep punching until you lined up with them, you know?
Yeah, right.
And so you would know you could only get attacked from the front and the back.
Right.
And in this, it becomes like the Batman games where you get surrounded by like 8 dudes and they're all punching you and you can't do anything.
Right.
And when you get punched in this game, you react. And your guy kind of bends over a second.
Yeah.
And so by the time you you recoup and get back to where you can hit somebody, another guy's punching you.
Right.
And so I got into these circles where I was just pummeled.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was nothing I could do about it.
Yeah. Well, I think another problem, doesn't it jump you to like stage 3 or
Yeah,
something?
it does.
And so there's no tutorial about how to play the game at all. I mean, the controls are very simple, and I looked it up in in their in-game manual, and I figured it out. I was a little disappointed though. If you pull the guard button, which is the right trigger, and then you move, then you can do a roll. But you can only roll straight forward. And so I was constantly trying to roll backwards from people, and then I roll into
Forward.
them. And so that was a little weird. I don't know. It moves kind of.
Craig, you only ever need to get away in one
It
direction.
moves kind of clunky. I hated trying to pick up those boards on the ground because you have to stand like directly over it.
Otherwise, you're hitting the button and you're just bending down for nothing and then getting punched.
It's supposed to be a grab button too, because Double Dragon has grabs as well.
Could you grab anybody?
No, he just bends down to pick something up.
And then you stand up and get punched in the face.
Exactly. Yeah,
By 8 dudes.
So we got to wait for Double Dragon 2 Neon. Right?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
And then they'll be undressed and made even sexier.
Well, they'll be by that other company, and they'll go, "Hey, this is how this game is supposed to be."
This is
Well,
how
that
we
was the
make
other
it
thing
fun.
was that Double Dragon Neon starts off just as like, I'm
Regular
just playing
Double
Double Dragon, but then it goes way off the wall.
Yeah.
while still keeping some of the ideas from Double Dragon, it just goes in a completely different direction. And this is, from what I understand, just pretty much a straight updating port of Double Dragon 2.
And that wasn't
Which
that great of a
people really
game.
remember well for its story and level design.
The other girlfriend gets beat up.
Gets punched.
Yeah, what's
They
with
do
that
show
scene
that.
at the beginning?
I know, it's
it
weird.
It seemed more sexual assault than it did.
Well, totally,
punch, throw over the shoulder.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, because she was
creepy.
half undressed in that at
Yeah.
one point, and yeah, there was weird things going on. She was heavy breathing.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It
It was a lot of
disturbing.
weird. It was. Hey, that's to get you fired up to go get her.
They made it grimdark.
Like for a second, I was upset when I saw it on the Blades, and I was like, I didn't play this. And now I'm kind of glad I didn't.
You read the description; it's more fun than
You
the
know,
game.
one other thing that was unfortunate about that 8 directions now
Yes.
was that, you know, you have your dragon powers or whatnot.
Yeah.
Also, really confusing about the dragon powers because there's like those orb statues.
Yeah,
and
they
then you
don't
grab
explain
them,
anything.
and apparently it changes your power or whatnot. And
I had no idea what was going on.
Neither did. If you look in the manual, you can figure out most of what's going on. But yeah, it's really poor in that respect. But there was this one power I had where I would shoot out like a dragon face or something. And so I was trying to do that. I was trying to shoot it at the dude who's standing in front of me, and I kept shooting it at down diagonals. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. That kind
Sounds
of irritated
awesome.
me. Yeah. And then that music looping just really emphasized how
That's the worst.
samey everything was in there. It was like this 10-second loop, I swear, over and over and over again.
I highly don't recommend it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I feel bad. I feel like this
Why?
is some small company or something like that. How did they get stumbled upon the Double Dragon 2 license, which would be like goddamn lottery winning?
Just because they're small doesn't mean they can't take any criticism.
No, I'm giving
They
them
need it.
criticism.
So don't feel bad, is what I'm saying. People shit on us all the time. We're indie as fuck.
And they talk bad about the show. Hey,
Smatter. All right, let's move on.
Sound like it hurt him.
Well, it would, kind of.
Please, Hammer, don't hurt him.
All right. What else we got for XBLA?
BattleBlock Theater.
On a positive note,
From the
let's
behemoth,
turn it around.
the well-known creators of Castle Crashers, which also has been on sale, like super sale for the past week.
About time that that thing got a sale. Hasn't been around for like 12 years.
This sells for 1,200 Microsoft points.
Speaking of which, this game has been around for a long time.
well, they've been talking about it for a
Holy
long
shit.
time. Yes.
I played this thing at San Diego Comic-Con like 4 years ago.
Speaking of which, Sean, did you hear Ride to Hell is coming out this week?
Ride to hell.
Those motorcycle games.
It was one of your look forward to games of like 2010.
Yeah.
The sandbox 60s.
There's 3 versions of it. What? There's like going to be a downloadable one, a disc one, and then a mobile one. They're all different.
Oh man, I didn't hear anything about that. That comes out this week.
That's 3.
I think so.
That's 3
Holy
rides
shit.
to hell.
I'll bet they'll all be that too. You have to check that out and let us know.
I will. I'm gonna.
All right, we talk about Battle.
Yeah, now back to BattleBlock Theater.
Anyway, so
the
this game
update,
is old, and I played this game in San Diego. Listen, so I played this game, and I played it, and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, because you would jump in and just play one of these mini levels,
Right.
and it's while they were still working on everything, so I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
So I was kind of apprehensive when I took a look at the demo this week, but I love it.
It's pretty great.
A lot.
It is.
It looks cool.
First off, it's super
Presentation
duper funny.
makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, it's super duper funny with the narrator guy who tells you the story of these friends who are on this ship, the friendship, that then crashes, and the leader of the friends, Hattie, is taken by these cats, and then everybody else is taken by these cats, who are then forcing you as prisoners to run around in these death
Cats
levels.
are evil.
They are.
Run around in these death levels, trying to grab gems so you can get to the exit.
And entertaining people.
And entertaining people, yeah, because when you do the finales, you get rated at the end, and you're rated based on your genuine performance. But then there's also like this applause that goes in that adds a few extra points to your.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
that's like
Funny.
your applause meter. I like that there's some customizable aspects of it. For example, you can adjust how much you want the narrator to talk. Although I didn't really notice that much of a difference.
Oh, okay.
But he's constantly jibing in funny, sarcastic things, like while you're dying or trying to do stuff, or he points out where you need to go, and it's kind of like if we did the voiceover for Bastion. That's kind of what it would be like.
It's funny stuff.
Yeah.
And that whole intro like hooked me immediately. I started it up. First off, I loved how everything looked, just the design style with that
Yeah.
whole same Castle Crashers look.
Right.
But then they started that whole intro thing, and that guy's all manic at the beginning, like doing that story in the intro, and I'm like, there's no way I'm not buying this. So I know that I'm buying it at some point. So and then I started playing the levels, and I loved them.
I've already purchased it. I didn't even play the demo for it, but yeah, and it's great. So you have different acts with 3 scenes in them each, which means you have 3 levels that you can go through in sequence, or you back out and you can go back and replay levels. You're trying to grab gems. You need at least 3 gems to get out the end of the level, but you want to try to find as many as you can. And then there are also these golden balls of yarn that are hidden throughout the level. There's lots of hidden things in there as well. Meanwhile, you're being timed without really a timer.
You collect the yarn so that you can buy black market items from the cats.
Black market weapons and
they accept your yarn.
Yes.
It's awesome.
And the gems you give back, you pay to Hattie to release some of your friends. And so there are like 4 pods with different shapes. Like there's a square, a circle, triangle, and a rectangle. And so that will release a friend with that shaped head. Because
they're all different style.
They're all different styles, yeah, because you can customize what you want your guy to look like. I mean, the bodies are all the same, but you can choose from lots of different heads and lots of different faces.
One of the things at the end of the demo, they run through the whole like game and like all the different levels and things that are in the game, and it's that voiceover guy that's doing it.
Yeah.
And one of the things they highly promote is bringing your real life hoarding obsession into the game with all the. They're like, look at all the stuff you can get. I know they were showing it, but they specify. I mean, they spoke to me and said, hey, you can bring your real life hoarding problems into this game. Look at all this shit you can get, which is what they say.
It's pretty great, and some of them are hilarious. There's one of the round heads that looks like a pug face.
I thought I saw that in the thing, so that sealed it even more, by the way, because I want that pug.
But there's great ones. There's like a triangle one that looks like a spider's head or something like that.
Oh, I don't know. They're awesome looking.
There's all sorts of great stuff, and then yeah, as Jeremy mentioned, the black market weapons and items that you can use, which are not. You are not immune to, and you will you will frequently be damaged by like the fireball one. You can set cats on fire, which is great because that's pretty much going to be an instant death for them.
Yeah.
But if they touch anybody else, then that catches on fire, and they usually run straight at you.
I knew that even when you play the demo, you just get your little mine thing that you throw, like it's a frisbee that kind of bounces.
Yeah, I was like, is this a frisbee? Am I just going to hurt people with it?
But then it's like a bomb.
And then I walk on it. It's a landmine.
So I've killed myself with it.
Yeah.
Plenty of times.
Yeah.
So how the game works is that you just play these little mini levels where you're going through and collecting those things.
Side-scrolling platforming.
Yeah, and they ramp it up quite a bit. So in the demo, they give you a couple really base levels, and then they kind of jump you to a level 2 world and then a level 5 world, and you really notice how much they ramp up the stuff with the disappearing blocks and fire and lasers and things you can drown in and buzzsaws that you have to dodge and all
robots,
this other shit.
weird.
And hidden things and little teleporting areas.
Yes.
And this stuff is awesome. It just looks great.
It is great. And then throughout the levels, there's also these cat enemies that will try to attack you as well. You can stop and attack them, but that doesn't really get you anything other than getting them off your ass. And then the fucking toast. Have you seen the toast?
I have. They set me on fire.
The toast. Goddamn toast.
They come out of the toasters.
They do. And those fuckers just pursue you like nobody's business.
I think mine fell into a bunch of water.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that
that's how they die.
The enemies are subject to the hazards as well. And often it's much easier to kill an enemy by throwing them into a hazard, like pushing them against spikes or, making them dodge out of the way so that now they're standing under that laser that you were just dodging.
And I should mention that there are a lot of checkpoints in the levels.
There are tons.
So you don't really have a life meter of any sort. It's basically a one-hit kill. The enemies, you can take punches from them and stuff, but like the hazards of the level.
The hazards will instantly.
And like the bombs and the spikes and things like that, you'll die instantly.
But you have infinite lives.
So really and what you do stays. So if you collected a gem, if you killed an enemy, that all stays when you get restarted at your checkpoint.
Exactly.
And it's an instantaneous restart.
I don't think any of it's designed to be like you have to kill yourself to grab this item. But if you do,
it ends up being I do it that way.
Right.
Sometimes.
I like that.
And then you're like oh, that's what I was supposed to do. Then you still have the item. You don't have to go back and do
exactly.
it.
So it's a really you can, and like I was going to say, you can sacrifice yourself to take out an enemy to get by, because there's really no penalty of just going back a couple steps at that point, and then now the enemy's gone and you can kind of proceed through. So it's a really nice setup, and really Well, it looks intimidating and hard, like a Super Meat Boy kind of thing.
not.
Some of those levels, it's not at all, because there's not a penalty of you have to redo this 100 times.
You can always stop and say, what do I need to do here?
Exactly.
And you can use the right stick to move the camera around to get a better look at things.
Because while there is there's a timestamp on it, right? You don't see your time, but at the end there's an extra A+ or whatever you can earn by doing
it goes straight to A+.
by doing a certain amount of time or completing it within a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
But it's really not anything I was aware of when I was playing.
No, there are encore levels. You play through 9 levels in each world, and then there's the encore where you have to basically race against the clock, and so you have to get to the end of the level before the clock ends. And then there are 3 encore levels, which are also race against the clock ones.
Oh, I did one of those and I didn't make it, but then that's when the demo ended.
Yeah,
so I didn't know what.
Yeah, those are more challenging because you can't really take that time so much, but. And when the time runs out, you are done. You have to start at the beginning again. But it's one of those progressive learning things where it's like, I did replay a couple of levels.
Yeah.
Plus, there are secret levels. The secret levels are awesome because there don't seem to be any real enemies. It's mostly just kind of grabbing gems before you accidentally land in the exit because it's going to be inevitable.
Yeah.
But the fucking narrator's like scatting this secret level song in the background.
Oh, that's awesome.
In the background, it makes me laugh uncontrollably. That's the other thing, is that I just laugh so much at myself dying.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, I'm going to try this. Whoop, that didn't work at all.
Well, I laughed. When we got here, you were playing it, and I was watching you for about, 40 seconds.
Yeah.
800 times trying to get by this buzzsaw and through this area, and you kept killing yourself, and it was funny.
It was funny. It's something that you can.
I mean, I wish you were better, but it was funny.
Well, true. I think that's one of the things. I think that's one of the things that the narrator says. You play well. You should play more well, or something along those lines.
Sounds about right.
There's all those great jibes.
Yeah, I think you'll actually really like it, Sean.
The more that you guys are talking about with the checkpoints and then I love anything that when I get to a point and I get an item, I'm like, that should be mine. Yeah. I don't care if I die right after it. It should be mine because I got.
If you had to redo this stuff, I think it'd be a pain in the ass.
It would be a pain in the ass.
But I think that it opens up for being like one of those fun games, but also a game that's going to drive you nuts. But you can almost put it down and then kind of come back to it, and after you cool down a little
or
bit.
get as much as you can out of it, and then move on to the next thing, and then come back and try and clean it up later.
That's kind of what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And you can play the story co-op. In which you can help each other or kind of sabotage each other.
That would be fun because especially if you're getting affected by your own stuff, I'm like that's
that's one of the awesome things too. Is that at the end of that demo they give you when they're doing the reel, it's like about co-op play, and it's like all these things, and then they have the guy throw somebody into an enemy mouth, and they're like, co-optional play. And so then it was like a montage of them killing each other, and they're like, oh, that's not good. That was funny.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
And then there's apparently other modes. You can create levels and share them. There are achievements tied to playing people's shared levels. And then there's also an arena, I believe, which is, I think the levels are just designed for combat. I think
because you can do verses as well.
Yeah, you can just do straight up verses.
Doesn't seem like it'd be much fun to me though.
It could be. It could get pretty zany.
Yeah, I guess it could be goofy. You're sending your frog bombs at somebody.
Yeah, and I mean, my guess is that you respawn heavily.
Yeah, that's true.
So
it's like a time limit,
and
maybe?
Everybody probably.
Yeah.
You're probably racking up a number of kills. I haven't tried it out yet, obviously.
What's the points on this?
Yeah, I think it's $15. It's 1,200
points.
Seems pretty big though.
Yeah, but there's also, the production value is really high. Like the animations in it are awesome. I love how it looks.
Yeah,
so
I like the design.
It does these stick figure like these cutout theater things.
Yeah, I liked when you hit the checkpoints where those rainbows would fly up and the little guy would be like, eh.
There's lots of that stuff.
Yeah, and that's that's neat. So
yeah, it's cool.
You know what it reminded me a little bit of? Hell yeah.
Oh,
the rabbit thing where it's just that level of crazy. But that didn't quite catch on with as many people. I think the gameplay is probably a little tighter in this game.
Cool.
It's important when it's fun like this, but not punishing.
Yeah,
and
it is punishing, but in a funny way.
It seems like it's giving you it's like punishing you, but also at the same time, like giving ice cream afterwards.
Exactly.
It's an abusive. Never mind. I'm not gonna go that route.
Thank you.
Let's use this analogy here.
Hey.
But highly recommend it, and if people are playing it, I know I saw several people who are playing it. Let me know. I'd be happy to play with you.
I'm gonna probably buy it.
You still won't play with people though. So
I might not play with people, but I'm gonna buy it. I'll play with people. I promise. Unless it's annoying. Maybe it's annoying to play with people though. Like, I don't want to play with somebody and it's like, oh, they just keep killing
whatever.
you.
You're going to be pranking the other person.
Exactly.
Because you're going to be the one who's focused on getting through the level.
Like Portal 2. And
you're not going to bring the fan object with you and start blowing people into the water. I love one of the favorite little details is that like sometimes you need a boat to get across things, and so you can walk over to the water and hold down the right trigger, and he just kind of splashes the water toward him, and then the boat slowly creeps over there. And then you can jump in the boat, and then it just sails along.
And he can control it.
I'm definitely.
I had a boat fall on my head once.
Yeah, I'm not gonna kill people. I'm gonna try and play and get through the thing, and then when I get like close to the end, I'll be like, kill the other person. And then I'll be like, I was kidding. I was an accident. Let's just finish.
I've heard that before.
Sorry
Not
about that.
from you, but I've heard
My
that
bad.
before. Oh, sorry.
I didn't mean to.
I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, right.
All right, well, cool.
Demos, right?
Injustice.
Yes.
Injustice, Gods Among Us from NetherRealm Studios and WB
and DC
Comics.
Yeah. So Mortal Kombat was a game that came out a long time ago.
That's true.
Mortal Kombat versus DCU was a game that
And
came
then
out a
that
while
came
ago.
out, and so now we have the DC part of the Mortal Kombat versus the DC
Sort of.
universe, so without all the Mortal Kombat.
Without all the moves.
Without moves.
It's now without moves.
A fighting game.
Without moves.
I'm terrible at
For the
fighting
dumb
games.
among you.
But that's the
I've
thing
never
about
said
this
anything
fighting
different.
game.
I'm terrible at fighting games.
Oh, yeah, me
I
too.
look at the move sets and I immediately
Yeah.
glaze over. Like
Right.
that might as well be like Japanese to me.
Oh, yeah.
Like when I look at move lists,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, I understand.
So
all
I
about
played.
joysticks.
I played through and I got to the end. So it must not be that hard because I played on
Exactly.
medium and I won.
As who?
I was Batman.
I was
think.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman?
What'd you say? Of course.
Well, because why wouldn't you pick Batman?
Because there was Wonder Woman.
But she's wearing her pants. And her hair's
But
all
she
weird.
can switch between a lasso and a sword.
See, and she hovers too.
Yeah, but I had a grappling thing with my Batman, and he'd kick everybody. Boo.
He's Batman. He knows the night.
Did you drive the car into people like in the end video?
No, but I didn't like.
No, that's in one of that's one of his.
Is that a level specific thing?
No, it's one of his
secret moves.
one of his secret moves, his powers. Because
What, he just
I was
shows up in
fighting,
the car and drives through somebody?
Like he jumps up in the air, like does a backflip, and the car drives underneath him and slams into his
runs
opponent.
over. Yeah, and that's because I was fighting.
It's in the video at the end of the demo.
It was
there
Batman
was a bunch of
versus
stuff.
Batman, and he did that to me, and I'm like, holy shit, that was kind of cool. The Batmobiles looks weird, and like I like the environment to it. Like
yeah, I thought the backgrounds look nice and everything.
and like how the environments are interactive.
The
like
interactive,
you can pull the bat signal off. It has like the
Yeah.
classic, like when you uppercut and
punch a
you
dude
know
into the helicopter.
yeah. But in this one, I got punched by Lex, and I bounced off like 5 buildings and landed on the roof of another
There
building.
are multi-level
So,
levels as well.
I
Yeah.
thought like all those little add-ins I
Yeah.
really liked about it, but I
that's the
just
thing.
but for a fighting game, I felt as really I might rent it maybe.
Yeah.
yeah.
But because I felt like it was dumbed down to where I could feel like I could get through it and just see what kind of story is in there.
Yeah.
Because you know there's a story behind it somewhere.
There is. There's a
'cause-
comic released.
Yeah, because there's that. Yeah, but I don't know.
Joker tricked Superman into killing Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen or something like that. So he
You
went,
just
he
read
went
the comic.
crazy.
Nah.
You don't need to play the game. You just read the comic book.
So I don't know.
I don't know either. I couldn't get into it.
It
at
feels
all.
like all the flash of these fighting games, but like little of the substance.
That's
Like it's got all the bells and whistles and
Yeah.
the cool stuff that happens, but
and then
you
a
know,
3-button combo.
But yeah, you
3
feel, you
buttons.
feel like you're just kind of pressing. It's almost
It's-
like a quick time event. in
it's
that
even
respect.
it's even worse. Like it makes like it feels like a
Thursday
really
Service Wrath Lover.
big time button smasher.
Yeah.
Like huge, like just spam, and try to get moves. Because I would try to do some and then I think I had it and then I try it again and I wouldn't. So
If I could feel like I'm dominating in a fighting game, there's something wrong with that.
yeah.
right, that's what I felt. I'm like, how did I get through all this match and didn't even get touched?
Yeah,
There has to be something wrong with this
Granted,
game.
I think there was a difficulty scale. Like I think your first opponent was because
Wonder Woman, it went Wonder
all.
Woman, Batman, Lex, and then Doomsday.
Well, yeah, but I think like they were progressively
Yeah.
harder. Like their AI was progressively harder.
Yeah, the Doomsday fight was much different than any
Yeah.
game.
Oh yeah, of all of them, yeah, I felt that was like which it should have been. But there was like a part where I picked up a dumpster and just smashed him with it, and I was like, Batman's tough.
He's tough.
I think he used his grappling hook to do it. I don't know how he did it, but he like wrapped it around and hit him.
That's why
with
he's
it.
Batman.
Yeah. But I mean, if you like the fighting games, I'd check it out. But it was missing that.
It doesn't seem like it has the
missing.
depth that a lot of fighting game people would want.
And honestly, it feels like it's trying to take itself too seriously to really get me enwrapped in it being goofy.
Yeah.
You know, like one of the things I was talking about with Darkstalkers last episode was I loved how over the top and cartoony all of it was, and Marvel vs. Capcom too as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's my favorite character is Tron Bond because she comes out on like a giant Lego dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's like all this stupid, ridiculous stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the shit I love in there.
What was this other QuickTime thing that they throw in too?
When
I
you're
got
like
into a clash with somebody.
yeah, when you get into a fight, then you got to hit those buttons so then you can win the.
But there's like 4 buttons and it's like rock, paper, scissors, basically.
Yeah.
And then whoever won did more damage or got health back or something.
Something.
Yeah.
I don't really understand it.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I almost wish they would have shown different characters than those that you got, because you got Lex, Wonder Woman, and Batman. I almost would have liked to see some of the lower characters that are going to be in the game, just to kind of see how they play. And that's what's got me enticed, just to see the skins, which I'm not a big fan of, because it's like Arkham Asylum on crack, you know.
It is.
in the Mortal Kombat universe type of thing.
The intro animations are ridiculous too. Wonder Woman's intro animation was bizarre.
She's like kneeling to her mom.
Oh, when she has the
Well, what's that?
Maybe
I'm thinking of the victory animation or whatever.
Maybe, yeah.
Where like the 2 Amazons show up behind her and like
that must be.
Yeah,
They all make out?
she's got like a posse or something. No, they're all looking tough, and
Oh.
she says something about like you shouldn't challenge an Amazon or whatever.
You shouldn't, though. I mean, she's right on that one.
they should have made out.
Never challenge an Amazon.
Oh my god,
Oh,
I hate you.
Why do you hate me? I don't know. So I don't know how I feel about the game. Like I said, but I'm down on fighting games in general. Usually, they're not my cup of tea. So.
I think it's really, really targeted at people who like the DC superheroes and want to see them bash each other.
yeah.
It's
Who really love that Mortal Kombat one and don't want the blood.
Right.
there was
Although
blood,
there's
though.
blood, yeah, you get fucked up in that game.
I was making people bleed.
Like,
Oh.
well, and I got after the end of that Doomsday fight, like
Yeah.
Wonder Woman like was missing part of her scalp or something like that.
What?
Yeah, like you can lose chunks of skin.
Oh.
I didn't have that,
I did.
but I had. When I would punch people, blood would come out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like,
Batman.
I'm talking Mortal
You want
Kombat.
like a head coming off and
you
spray?
want-
Not even
rip
that.
out the spine.
Well, you would have that splatter of blood
Yeah,
or smatter of the
Something.
that stuff. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I did like.
It did bring
we mention
Avatar
you were
stuff.
able to switch. Did I mention that already? You were able to switch between the two. I think I mentioned that Wonder Woman had lasso and a sword, but you could switch it up, and then it would slightly change the movesets.
Well, I wondered about that because I kind of moved between Batman, went to like punch it with his right hand to switch into his left.
Okay.
He went from
Southpaw, really?
to southpaw. And I was like, well, hey, he's thinking 2 steps ahead. So then I thought maybe I'd have a different grapple, like it would just throw, like
some
maybe
things were
throw
the
a
same, I
batarang,
believe.
but then throw a grapple.
I think
so.
yeah.
And then that video thing showed like all those the Star Labs things where they had like a bunch of mini games you could do.
Oh yeah.
and they
what
looked,
was with that?
They look dumb.
Yeah.
They did look pretty dumb.
It's like just a bunch of dumb shit that they
It's like a
people were doing.
mashup of a
It looked like a WarioWare kind of game
A
thing
little
where
bit.
they were like just these goofy things that you were doing,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what?
There's Bane smashing a car.
That and honestly, seeing that made me feel like, well, they felt like there was something else that needed to be put in this game.
Yeah.
That it's that light, and then this was their compromise. Like it doesn't make me feel that hopeful for it.
But it is a very flashy. I mean, presentation wise,
Yeah, I'll agree.
It's pretty dang slick.
I'll agree
agree.
with that. I'll agree
and
with
so
that.
I wouldn't tell people not to look at the demo.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right.
I'll rent it because I want to see
I might,
DC
too.
characters beat
Smash
each other
each other,
up.
yeah.
I mean, come
I might
come
too.
on.
Well,
and that Lex in his suit is pretty sweet.
like I said, I'm not good at them, so there is an enticement for me on the fact that I was able to play like on standard or medium
right.
or whatever and still hold my own. And so that way I could at least mess through, get through the game probably.
Yeah.
metal through.
We'll see.
We'll see. That'd be great. I rent it, and then it's like terrible.
Just beat the shit out of you.
I mean, I'm like, what the fuck? They suckered me with that demo. They like step everything down like 4 steps. Some mediums like super baby easy.
Yeah. Well, it's a demo.
We'll see. I think it's out this week. So
it's other than that Ninja Gaiden 3 demo, which the game had already come out.
Yeah.
That game's out.
Yeah.
And I thought it was new, but no. I was thinking about renting it. I thought about it, then I just walked away laughing maniacally.
You should not do it.
Whoa.
All right, so talking about some disc games.
Touch back on some Gears of War.
If you must.
Judgment.
Damn.
I don't must.
Damn.
I don't must, but I will. Have fussed. So I got to play, I finished it out, played the campaign, and got the Aftermath level done. I also got that awesome stairwell glitch that some other people
I don't know about
out.
this. What is going on with that?
There's a part in Aftermath where there's just part of the stairwells missing. So
You've had good luck with games.
it seems like whenever I download them to my hard drive, I have glitch problems up the ass. But when I run them off the disc, I don't seem to have problems at all. So I had to go out and restart the level because the checkpoint, it was always missing. And the other guys are just standing there staring at me, and I'm like, I can't get up there. Who's going to help me? I thought maybe it was a help part, and then you fall down and you're just floating in air and walking in circles.
Awesome. Between this and Tomb Raider, you've had a good couple of weeks.
Exactly. But this one wasn't too bad compared to
At least
Tomb
you could
Raider.
reset and would be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't have to try to get down in that pit. But
Trying to roll.
yeah, exactly. I enjoyed the game. I thought the Aftermath, I hate the fact that should just been included in the game, like as the chapter.
What, in 3?
Yeah, not 3.
In Judgment?
In Judgment. It should just been at the end, because after the end because always thought it was weird, at the end of the campaign, there's no credit roll, there's no, like, it doesn't feel like the end of the game. You play Aftermath, you play it out, then the credits roll. And it was really weird how they would throw that as an extra level, unlockable level, but then that's where you get the end of the game. I didn't get that end of the game feeling at the end of the campaign like you do with any other games. You go to your, you get the credits rolling and you get to the end of the game, get your stats.
Right.
It just ended, and then you had to play Aftermath. You don't have to play it, but I did. I enjoyed it. I liked Aftermath a lot. I liked the whole, like, going back to where they were in the other game. I remember, like, your weapons thing. I get that. I thought that was kind of crazy how they didn't have those weapons.
Like you had them in Judgment, which was older, but you didn't have them in 3?
Well, I didn't, and that's the thing. I didn't get to the part where there was more of those weapons yet. They're from that other army.
Yeah. That
they were feuding with. The Gears, the Cogs were feuding with the Russians, or I wouldn't call them Russians, but close enough.
It's a different planet, but they're Russians.
Yeah, exactly.
The commies.
Yeah,
it is.
Exactly. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
And so I almost would have liked to actually had more of that kind of stuff, like pre-Locust showing up, maybe a couple more flashbacks of that.
I agree.
Because I liked the fact that I didn't even realize till almost halfway that this guy was the guy that we were fighting against originally. And I was like, oh, well, that's why. And so as the story kind of progressed on, I enjoyed that that side to it. Their weapons were a little bit better, but I can see why they didn't come along to the other ones. That's how they figured it out in the story. But they showed up in the Aftermath, so that's where it kind of screwed things up.
They disappear,
but
they
were only on that island.
Okay.
He had a stash of those.
Yeah, you're right.
But it was missing some of the big. It was missing the big stuff. Mm-hmm. That was the one thing I did like, the mix up of going to your turret runs and doing those kind of things. How they'd mix it up with those big events where you'd switch over to a turret, or you'd get onto this.
See, I didn't like it. What it felt like to me is that they put the multiplayer into a single player.
Yeah.
I felt that way throughout the levels. They felt like multiplayer, like death matches.
Yeah.
And then it was even more stamped home with the fact that you would get to those level in each level you were in. You'd have a section that ended up being like like a horde mode.
Yeah.
And so you'd have to do a horde mode where you have to defend the spot. And I'm like, everything in here is just a single player multiplayer level. It was so weird.
Yeah.
It just was weird. It was a weird experience.
It was different from the other Gears games. In the end, I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Am I going to go out and buy it? No.
That's good.
I'm glad that I played it. I'm happy with the story. I wish there was more Cole and not Baird.
Yeah, it was weird.
I'm not a big fan of Baird.
Not either. I hate Baird.
Other than that, I still. But I liked Aftermath. I thought that was a fun level. Fun levels, fun chapter.
Well, like I say, I believe that was probably DLC that they then bloated this game out to justify.
Then I didn't have to buy the DLC.
That's true.
So that's awesome.
Not. You were able to rent the DLC
and play it all out,
which is good.
So I in the end, I still liked it. I would have liked to play some multiplayer, but I just wanted to get it back and return it.
Yeah, that new mode was awesome.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I mean, there's some good aspects to it, but then again, I don't play 3 enough, so it doesn't justify me playing that.
Because you could just play 3 if you want.
If I want, for multiplayer.
Exactly.
So,
all right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, move on to Army of 2, 3.
2-3.
Army of 2, the Devil's Cartel, not 3. There's no 3 in it.
Army of T30.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right, Army of 2. We talked about the demo last time. Craig played the demo out a little bit, and we played the full game.
Right.
Sean and I started the full game.
How's the warm-up act?
I'm about halfway through it, I think. It seems pretty short.
Yeah.
Not a surprise, though, probably.
No.
Because I think I've only put like 2 or 3 hours into it, and I think I'm about halfway through.
Yeah.
It goes really quick, too.
Yeah, I thought the levels went
It
really
flies
quick.
by.
Yeah,
it flies by. So, Craig, you talked about last time one of your concerns, or some of your concerns, being that you kind of felt that they stripped the character out of the game, which they have.
Yes, they
completely.
have. They have.
So, Salem and Rios are in the game.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
But they're in the background,
Right.
and you're playing Alpha and Bravo, the 2 new guys that are in the squad, because it is their company. That TWO, what does that stand for? I can't remember. Something World Operations something. But now, so they've basically made the TWO, the 2, into an actual title.
Right.
And so everything's branded with TWO on it, which I don't really, but they had a helicopter with TWO stamped on it. So
they got it.
They put the branded out.
It's on there.
They did. They got their name out there.
It's on all the.
It's good on Rios,
on
man.
all the Army members. It's on all. It's on all their flak jackets and whatnot.
It is.
Yep.
In that way that they stripped out the character, I do feel that it feels empty.
Yeah.
It's a weird experience because I'm having fun with it, but it's not really a good game. And it's not the way that 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. That's probably the closest thing I can correlate it to.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have that insane, funny humor thing to it,
Right.
Yeah.
which is kind of what Army 2, had. It was that goofiness to it.
It had like the funny camaraderie.
So they took out the goofiness.
It was like an action movie.
Yeah.
Action movie.
And that's what this
funniness.
is. It feels like an action movie, but without any humor.
Yeah.
The two, Bravo and Alpha are pretty dry.
They are.
And they just kind of, I don't know. I've only got it starting out, and they're just kind of green still, and they're starting out as a team together.
Yeah,
that's the odd thing too, is because before you had 2 characters, and you could tell that they had a little bit of a meld going on. But these guys,
they were already together.
Yeah, these guys are starting out, and I don't know. It's all right. The dialogue, the back and forth, the little clips back and forth aren't there. They're mostly done through, like you were saying, through Rios and Salem at the beginning. I don't know where it's going to now, but that is where it pulls me away. But then when I play it, and shit's blowing up.
The problem is that I've played probably halfway through the game and everything's the same.
Yeah.
So you just go into a new area that you go through, go down a street, a fuck ton of enemies come streaming at you. You shoot them all, and then you get to the end, and there's a checkpoint, and you get your stats, and you open a door and go on to the next one, do the same thing, and these are all like 5-6 minute levels, if even.
Sure.
Probably even shorter in some of those instances. So while it's entertaining while I'm doing it, it's the same thing all the time. There's really not growing like any different experience. I remember and maybe this changes, but I feel I'm halfway through, and I should have gotten some different things happening already.
Yeah.
But I remember playing Army of 2 a couple times, and you would have different enemies that show up, or you'd have like kind of a mini boss that you'd run into, and you have to take this guy out. It's not happening in this round. And they do put the emphasis on your teammate and your squad mate there. There's no aggro meter anymore, like you mentioned, which is a problem because that was the main thing for the tactics.
Yeah, it was a large part of the tactics.
So you can instruct your partner to do things. You can say, cover me, or, get their attention.
Yeah.
And he'll do that, like you do it with the directional pad, and they will do that, but there's no way on screen to kind of tell...
So could
where
you do
you're
that
at
when you 2 were playing together, for example?
I don't think that it gave me an option. We were kind of just running around as each other. And, they do focus on whoever there is still aggro in the game, right? So they do still focus on whoever's active and doing the things,
but it's less.
But it's not
clear.
The tactics of it is totally removed.
At least you always knew when your other character, either be Salem or Rios, whoever you were playing, was going for that other option. If you were playing with the computer or they were helping you, you would know that, hey, I'm shooting, make a run for it.
Right.
Not that they're not saying it in this game, but before there was almost like it would pop up, and you could hit that and see what you could do. And now you hear it through all the bullshit that's going on.
Well,
all the bullets and then everything blowing up. I'll
say the other thing that I do love the destructible environments. Everything looks awesome when you're fighting.
Oh, yeah.
And so that action part of it is really good. And that's what's keeping me playing, because you go down these streets and every car blows up. When you shoot it enough, it blows up. Buildings fall apart. Not the buildings, but things that they're hiding behind cover.
Sure.
You can piece everything out.
Some of the walls do blow out of the buildings.
And so that shit is awesome, because the destructible environments are fantastic in this game. Maybe some of the best I've ever seen in a game.
Nice.
Yes.
And that stuff is fun.
Beautiful.
And it happens to me. You'll be hiding behind something, and all of a sudden it's destroyed and you're standing up.
Yep.
Because they are big on the cover system. I do like how the cover system works for the most part. You get behind cover and you can kind of use your cursor to look ahead, and it gives you a blue spot if you can get to the next one. And so it's all a one button thing. You hit A and he runs to that next spot.
Yep.
I love when you get close enough to a cover, you can hit A and don't have to do anything else, and he'll run and slide to that and take cover. And so that stuff is all really smooth, and it's nice that you don't have to worry about it. And it's kind of fun to move up the level, cover to cover to cover.
Right.
It's kind of enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's really easy to get stuck on cover too, though, is the problem.
Yes.
And so it's hard to sometimes get off of it if you have a guy that's all of a sudden shooting you from the side or behind you because you moved up too far.
Yep.
You're kind of going to die.
You can get flanked pretty easily on some of the levels too. Like there's alleyways that you would just think are just for that's
decor.
Decor, yeah.
And
but no, they're not at all.
And there's guys coming out.
Yeah, and that's the other.
It's a little monster closet-y in some areas too.
Yeah,
where guys are just coming out of this area, like this place that had no door.
Yeah,
and now they're just like out of there all of a sudden. There's four guys.
It's like a
out.
blind spot that these guys, and then you turn to look, and where's the door?
Do you have any of the co-op situations like you had in the 40th day? And I'm not sure if you guys experienced that with your limited
not really
exposure to the 40th day. You know what I'm talking about? Like where there would be people with no, not that, but there would be like people with hostages, and so what you could do is you could have one guy kind of walk up looking like he was giving up, and then the other one take him out.
Yeah, the scope guy going.
I loved that stuff.
There are things where you split up, so one has to cover this area, and then you have to cover this other area or do this other thing.
It's gone more the route of Gears in that sense, where it's like you split up that way and not use each other. Because I always like that, hey, nothing.
What I wanted to mention
here.
What I wanted to mention about the aggro thing is that they do instill the new mode for the overkill. And so you can, if you build up enough, or take enough damage.
I think that was in there before.
Was it?
There was a mode where basically you could go blazing and you wouldn't use up ammo and stuff.
That's what this is.
And it would kind of go into slow motion. And
they've amped it up a little bit.
It's ridiculous because you hit your bumper button or you go into it automatically sometimes. But I think when we were doing co-op, it was because
you hit your left bumper, and if I hit it and I'm up, you get it as well.
Share it to the mom. Okay. But when you go into it, like your weapons are all explosive, so your bullets are basically explosive.
What?
You don't have to reload. It's unlimited shooting, and you're invincible.
That's the same. Yeah,
so you basically just walk the middle down the middle of the street and just fuck everything up.
Right.
And in this game where everything is destructible and exploding, and so you're down a busy street and there's 5 cars ahead of you, you just blow the fuck out of everything, and it is awesome.
And but you've got. I mean, that includes all the little crates that are by it. And it includes the concrete, the dudes. I mean,
because dudes get shot and they go flying.
Yeah, in the
but it's awesome.
The fact that they can just one guy, I shot him with a grenade and he blew up. The grenade hit behind him and he blew up right towards
missing
me.
A leg.
Missing a leg
because their body parts fly
and
off.
His head was gone too, but.
And it's a little gruesome.
It is that way, but at the same time, it's just like the ragdoll part of the character, like the enemies, the way they die, and just that. I
still had fun when I was running around doing it.
Like it's a one-time fun kind of game. I think if you got done with it,
but there's literally no story I care about.
No.
It's all just like running around and shooting people, and like some things that'll happen sometimes that make me laugh, and then that's about it.
Yeah,
it's totally throwaway. But what I was gonna say about that is that that overkill mode. they set up these times where they're like, they really want you to do the co-op and like and tactics with your partner. Like, oh, you draw their fire, I'm going to go this way, get around this like the mounted guns that they're on.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go around and take out that guy. So you draw their fire. And instead, I get to those things. I'm like, well, fuck this, overkill that I have for like 15 seconds, and they just shoot the truck that it's on, and it blows up, and we're done. Like, why would I bother trying to sneak around? I can just go down the middle of the street and fuck everything up with this like super overpowered mode that they give you, where you're like a god all of a sudden. So it's weird because they're like, do these tactics, and I'm like, no. I got a tactic for you. How about I just make everything blow up?
You're like, I'm gonna go down the street. I was like, okay, and I'm like in cover, and that's when I noticed I've already all of a sudden I'm on fire too. So I'm going out and I'm shooting everybody. It cools off, and then I hit mine, and he's like, mine went off again. So then we both realized, oh, we get to share.
Because I'm like, I'm sorry, it's going to be explodey here for a little bit because you just like take everything out, and we did a little bit of the co-op. Yeah, and that was fun, but it was no different. I mean, you're just doing your own thing, running around shooting everybody.
Yeah.
So and the AI, the partner AI seemed okay. When I played what I played so far, he would save me every time I got down.
I agree.
I think I died once up through the 17 levels that I've played through so far. Yeah. So
any deaths that I've had is all blamed on myself.
It's all you.
Like, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm dead. I'm not moving.
Yeah, it just feels empty. Like it just feels empty. There's no soul to it.
It doesn't have that bromance. It doesn't have that. It doesn't have like that buddy cop movie, right? And I think there was those little comments back and forth, and just even the little stupid handshakes and fist bumps and all that stuff. Yeah. I like that about that game. I mean, that was fun about it, but
I still like making all the weapons.
Visually, customization, man.
What, you love it?
Of course I do. Yeah. But it's all those masks. And the fact, I don't remember being able to customize the mask on the disc. Like on the Xbox, you'd have to go online.
Yeah, you did it online.
They have it now. You can customize them on, and which is, I did a bunch last night.
Yeah, if anybody's friends with Sean on Facebook. I checked it this morning, and there was like 15 updates from Sean, all his different masks.
I fell asleep. I didn't fall asleep, but I was like, oh, well, I couldn't open it, but I guess I got some gameplay in, and it opened it. And it's 12 layers, so, and they've got some cool options in there.
I still love being able to customize your weapons and add on to them and like pimp them out and like change the colors, and then they show that way in the cutscenes.
Yeah.
And so now I throw things on them, and then that's what I'm using in my cutscene, and now my matching guns that are all in the same color scheme look badass on my guy.
Nice.
That stuff is still fun to me. I like that. But the game itself, while it's fun to play and fun to blow stuff up, it doesn't have any kind of heart to it that I'm finding at all.
It's
so that's
missing,
kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it's missing what Army of Two had. But and it's too bad. The things that they added to it are awesome, but it just doesn't.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
But I'm going to finish it out because I'm having a good time with it. So shooting stuff.
The tips are weird because sometimes they tell you about like everything about drugs.
What?
I know it's about the Devil's Cartel, about a drug cartel, and how they all these cartels have opened up. But it's like it talks about the amount of drug tunnels that lead from Mexico into the U.S. It talks about, and I'm like, what is that part of the game? It's like, what?
Because none of that's come up yet.
I have no at
all.
You're fighting bad dudes, but I don't remember them. I haven't gotten into a tunnel yet, so. It was just odd, those little tips on the bottom, that you read. I'm like, what is that one about?
That's to make it seem more
real?
Yeah,
realistic. More important.
Like we're looking at
a problem
in the world.
Now put your hockey mask on and get out there and blow everything up.
Yeah, exactly.
Never mind the fact that
go ahead.
I want the tip that tells me why nobody lives in these towns.
Yeah.
Because I'm walking down abandoned streets other than just shirtless dudes that are running at me with guns.
Yeah.
Because people go into explosive mode every 10 seconds.
There's a lot of
long to go.
True. I wouldn't hang out on the street.
Fuck this!
But I'd maybe take my car with me. They seem to just leave their cars.
No, they just shoot the cars. Those guys. I liked how in the demo, like when Alpha and Bravo are first introduced, they're sneaking in, and they've obviously been captured and disarmed or something like that.
Yeah.
So they don't have like their body armor or anything like that, but they do still have their face masks.
Which have tracking devices in them.
I don't think I've gotten to that part yet. I wonder if the demo's like in the middle of the game or something, because I don't remember that. That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't have on-arrow weapons.
They have like a handgun. They're like in T-shirts and jeans and face masks.
That's awesome.
I think they're just really serial killers.
They might be.
That's the solution there.
They could be.
Yeah.
All right, you good on Army 2 for now?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah.
Because I got a lot to say about that.
Okay.
So
strap in.
I guess strap in. I'm so conflicted on this game. All right, so the more I've thought on it, because I have finished it, I've completed it. Mm-hmm. The more I've thought on it, the more I've softened on it. I was a little harsh on it at the end when I finished it, but that's getting way ahead. The beginning of this game is maybe the best thing I've ever experienced.
It's pretty
in
awesome.
Gameplay. Mm-hmm. Like the way that the story starts, the world that you're thrown into, the themes that are addressed in the game. I don't want to say a lot because I don't want to spoil anything. And at this point, I know that there's a lot of talk out there, but I know there's still people who try to avoid information. So I'm very wary of that. But there are themes that are expressed in the game that are very serious, and it's a smart game, obviously, right?
Yeah.
It's not like it's new territory that they're breaking with those kind of things in any of these Kevin Levine games.
Yeah.
That they're very serious matters, and I've enjoyed it quite a bit. Story wise, I thought it was great. Mm-hmm. Character wise, it's fantastic. Music wise, it's fantastic. Fighting, I was a little mixed on with the way that they do the new combat with the skylines, and you use your sky hook.
Yeah.
Because they include that in the game where you have these kind of like roller coaster lines that you're going across and doing any of your battles through there.
I want to be a guy standing watching me play because it'd be like, look at that guy, and I'm like, wee,
Just riding around.
I'm going through. I went through like 2 rotations once. Once I figured out you can make it go fast.
Because you can, I mean, I do like that you're in control of it the entire time when you're on those skylines,
which I didn't think you could.
You can
which
speed
is
it up,
awesome.
you can slow it down, you can aim at people, which also automatically slows everything down.
Yeah.
So if you kind of stay in aim mode, you kind of go in slow motion on it, which is nice. You can reverse yourself and jump on a different track and go the other way. You can jump off, you can do attacks from it, like onto people. So there's just lots of awesome things that are, in that combat mode. But the overall atmosphere of the game is just brilliant. It sucked me in right away. I spent the first 2 hours, I think, pretty much just with my mouth hanging open.
Yeah.
Like, as I was just experiencing everything that was going on and the setup that they have for it. Because it is kind of like the original Bioshock, where you go in blind.
Yeah.
And you don't know, you're going in with your character not knowing what's going on, or, not knowing this world, and getting to experience it through their eyes, but also through your eyes at the same time. And it's really engrossing and a lot to soak in at the beginning.
Yeah.
So
I was comparing it right off the bat when you walk in and you see that chair, and I'm like, I don't want to sit in that chair. It's going to take me somewhere I don't like.
Because like the original Bioshock,
and you
except opposite. Because you go up.
Yeah, and what I also,
which was awesome.
And it was nice when you got up there.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, this is not
You're
good.
waiting for the shoe to drop.
Yeah, because like when you get down there, it's like things are all messed up, and and then you're like, you have to walk down this like thing, and you're talking to people, and I'm like, I don't want to go down there.
Yeah.
I mean, there was
it was dark and damp and dreary.
Yeah,
and this is all bright and happy and shiny.
Yeah,
and you're like, well, what's wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
What's wrong with this place?
Yeah. But I mean,
it's too happy.
I ended up. I wander a lot in this game. I find myself kind of just like walking around looking at stuff. Yeah. I love the design is great. Just the background, the atmosphere, the setting is just really cool. Like I've sat and just stared out like as the buildings are rising and fall, like blimps going by. Just I don't know. It's pretty sweet.
I really like that. I love how they incorporate some of the music in the game. Some of the music is brilliant, the way that they do stuff. There are themes that they address in the game that you get later on. And the character you run into later on, Elizabeth, who kind of becomes your partner for the majority of the game, is awesome. I love like her voice acting. I love the interaction between her and your main character, Booker.
I'm slightly attracted to her.
Sean is attracted to her.
A little bit.
Even though she's not real. But she is based on a real person.
Her voice is real. It's a good. No, it's really.
It is. It's well done.
Yeah.
Acting wise. And then also, it's not a typical team up of like, okay, you've got this, partner, this sidekick, this lady that you have to protect now, because you don't ever have to worry about her. She's never going to get taken out in battle.
Right.
She holds her own. She helps you out.
Yeah.
Which is awesome because she, that was an aspect I wasn't expecting in the game, where when you're in battle, she'll throw you ammo, she'll throw you health, she'll throw you salts for your vigors, which we haven't talked about yet. But
vigors.
She'll throw you money when you're usually when I go to like any of the vending machines and then leave them. She's like, "Hey, you need this money?"
Yep.
And so she'll throw you some money. And then she has an ability to kind of open up these portals. And so there are things throughout the game that are existent in a different area, but you can't see them, but they're portals that she can kind of open up and bring those to your area that you're at.
Yeah.
So there'll be like turrets or like cover or med kits, things like that. And so then you can have her open up those areas and you can use those items then. But I mentioned the Vigors quick, which is basically the plasmids from Bioshock,
right?
Just retermed in this environment. They work the same way, you know, with your hand you can control and they do different things, but there's some that are carried over, like the fire, the electricity, things like that. But there are new ones. You don't have the bees anymore. No bees flying out of your hand. But you have crows. So you have this like crow talon thing almost, and you can have these crows come attack people, and it's awesome. And when you level up some of those vigors, they're insane. Like that crow one I love because you can get a upgrade for it that when they kill somebody, it sets a nest down there. So now it's a trap when anybody like runs over it. It unleashes a bunch of more crows. Because they do also, I don't remember from the last game, you could charge them up, couldn't you?
Yeah.
In the last game? And they were like a stronger attack.
I think so, yeah.
So how they work now is that there are some that do that, but most often than not, what they are is you set traps with them. So if you hold down the button instead of just doing a one-time use, you charge it up and then let go. It sets a trap of whatever it is that you were using. So like the electricity will set like this electric trap, or you know, like a bomb. The crow nest. It does
because they used to have the tripwire in the first one, didn't they?
That you could set up. I don't remember.
They did.
I know that were those traps just around, but I don't know if
you could set those up in that.
But
that was just electric. It wasn't everything.
Right. So that was a fun aspect, but I got hung up on just using like one or two and then not ever, because you can flip on the fly between two of them. You can have two of them queued up, and like with your bumper button, you switch back and forth depending on how your controller setup is, obviously. But there's, I think, 8 in the game, I want to say. And I didn't really mess with a lot of the other ones. I used them like the one time and then just didn't mess around with them beyond that. So
that's not uncommon for
And I think that I found the game to be easy. I wasn't dying very often.
I've noticed I'm not.
And you know, like they got rid of what was those things that you would come back into, the Vita chambers in Bioshock? Is that what it was? You just kind of go back a little bit and get revived, usually by Elizabeth when she's around. And I think you lose $100 of your money, and then they heal up a little bit.
You can play it on 1999 mode.
Ugh, I heard about that. After you beat the game, it does unlock that mode, and that's like super hard. They amp up the difficulty, and you take more damage. And I think that there was something about the death, but I can't remember what it was. That it costs more, or is more limiting, or something like that. I can't remember. But I'm not playing that mode. No, I'm not. I played on normal.
I thought you were complaining.
That was
about
enough for me.
Easy.
So I'm enjoying the gameplay a lot. Though. Do you like the combat stuff?
I haven't had a problem with it. Like you said, probably because it's a little. It doesn't seem as like difficult as Bioshock. In Bioshock 2, I always had a problem with that one. But Bioshock 1, I maybe it was just the darkness and the gloominess of it.
Because it's a lot brighter.
And maybe you're able to see the enemies running at you from further away, so then they're not in the shadows. But I found it to be pretty easy. The only thing I didn't really care for is I need to change my controller setup, because I would always hit my salt. Did
you go in and do it? Because I had to change it too, and it was after a couple hours of playing, and I went in and looked, and because it was very not intuitive the way that they had it. It's because you weren't aiming with the left trigger; you were using your vigor, right? Is that what it was? So you couldn't look down the sights without. I think it was like you had to push in one of the directional pads or something.
It's ridiculous.
And so I changed it, and then all of a sudden now you're aiming with left trigger, and so that was much easier because that was not good.
And I just haven't gone back into that, because for a while there I hadn't been in, because I wasn't going into fighting, which I also like about it. It's that sense of you don't know what's going to happen next, and it could be a long story that's being played out, or something like that, or just you're in a room. Like as you're going to, you're picking up somebody, we'll just say, and you go through all these different rooms. Really, nothing happens in any of those rooms, but there's just that thought that something could
happen,
and so you're just kind of on edge the whole time. And I like that about the game. It's not to the point where I'm like frustrated and upset, but like you go in that big speaker room, and it's like, oh man, that was so cool.
Well, that kind of gets at something I wanted to ask you guys about, because with the first couple of Bioshocks, you're in these underwater passages, and it's dark and you can't see your enemies coming very well, and so there's a lot of tension from somebody might be jumping out around the corner, and if people are attacking you, there's not really many places you can run to. It's got that sort of claustrophobic, something's going to pop out at any moment feel, and so. Do you find that that's still the kind of feeling that you have with this one, with it being much more open, or is it maybe something more like I was thinking with Dishonored, getting into I wasn't intimidated by the idea of encountering an enemy, but the idea of getting into a fight was a little more intimidating in case it got overwhelming, because it wasn't necessarily I was scared of one guard. I was scared of having a whole bunch of guards coming there.
It's more that.
Yeah.
More of that.
I would say, because there's even parts where you walk into rooms and if you keep calm or not do anything, you might not even. But then all of a sudden you'll get attacked, like a police officer. Oh, that's who and so, and
And this goes to the level of ease that I find with the game, is that there really isn't a lot of those areas. And where you get overwhelmed.
Sure.
You can kind of control the situation, and areas are so big and open usually, or at least enough where you can kind of shoot and move backwards, and kind of draw people back to you. And so there really isn't a difficulty in combat or a surprise element in combat for the most part. And that was a little unfortunate, because there's really some suspense that's lost with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
You kind of know you're going into a room that's going to have a lot of people, or you come into a room and the people are already standing there. And so you can kind of take one of them out and then alert everybody, but you at least got one guy down.
Right.
And you're in control of it because you see all the people that are there.
Yeah.
You know where to go for them. Or you can even kind of funnel them out and then start using your vigors on them, but you're controlling that, so you get them all grouped together and then send an attack thing out. So it's really not as Dead Spacey in that way either. Where you're kind of, I don't know what's around this corner. I was never scared going around anywhere in there.
Right.
They do chase you down pretty good, though.
They do.
Too.
They will come after you.
You can go into a couple of different rooms, and then they'll come be right behind you. Hey, how's it going? I'm going to kill you.
But in that same token, you can go into a room and then just stand by the door and wait.
Yeah.
And then they'll come open the door and you're like, boom.
Right.
Next one, come in, please. Boom. Thanks. Thanks, everybody. My issue that I did with the game, I'm not going to spoil anything, obviously, but the story for me at the end, it is a great story overall. I think what I've reflected on in the days since I finished the game is that it's my knowledge of other source material that is very similar to this game and the story that it's telling, and including some of the key elements that happen in the story. That maybe made me not enjoy it, because I kind of figured things out ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't know anything, this was a big blow to me or a shock to me. And I was kind of like, yeah, I saw this in this other thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I was thinking it already. So, but that ruins things for me all the time. And that's why I'm such a baby about spoilers, because the more I know, I can't turn my brain off. There are people that can turn their brain off and enjoy entertainment and go see a movie and not think about what's happening or trying to figure everything out as it's going along every step. I can't do that.
You should only do 5 pieces of entertainment per year. I think that's the solution.
I should do that, but I can't, and I hate that I can't turn it off.
Give them at least.
But my
10.
problem is I'm playing the game the entire time, trying to stay ahead of the game and figure out things, and that ends up ruining things for me, because I either build it up so much higher in my head, and that's what happened with this game. Is they do give you a finite ending. It's a great ending. It's nice because it's not open booked. It does give you a thing and it explains things, but it's a more overall kind of resolution. And I wanted a pinpoint. I wanted this one thing that happened. I wanted there to be a reason that this specific thing happened.
Okay.
And there's really not. It kind of goes to a more umbrella kind of answer for things. And I wanted things specific things to mean more than they did. And that was my end issue with the game. But that doesn't mean it wasn't still enjoyable. It was still a fucking awesome story and really, really well done. And the game looks insane.
It looks really good.
I love it, except for the textures. You get up close to stuff and it looks bad. They need to really work on that stuff. I don't know what's...
It is the Xbox.
Yeah.
It might be very different
now
on
you
a
blame
PC.
the system.
Well, it is.
I know, I'm joking. It could be. I don't know how
People
the
are
PC
claiming
looks.
it's an outdated system now.
I don't know how the PC version of it looks, so maybe that is the case. But I know the textures on the Xbox One are when you get up really close.
Right.
But if you look at everything from afar, it looks awesome.
Yeah, I really like. I mean, and of course, it has all the classic, the great stuff from Bioshock. Just the design of the things that you pick up, the things that you find. Just even those little picture viewer things that are strung throughout till the tail.
Yep.
Of,
the old style,
Columbia.
the old style film reels.
Yep. There's like things like that, and the audio record player thing.
And I'll tell you what,
looking.
I played this game a lot longer than a normal person probably should, because I searched every fucking corner of this game, like everything, and I still ended up missing like 10 of those audio recordings, and I have no idea how. Like, it makes no sense to me what I missed.
They're all under one desk.
Damn it.
It might be.
I missed one desk.
Yes.
Had 10 of them.
Yes.
A vault.
You go back through, look under every one of the desks.
Going through. I did
You'll
look at
find
every
it.
desk.
No, you must have missed one.
I didn't miss
Just
one.
go through and look through every desk again.
I hate that I'm so meticulous about searching every area before I move on.
Yeah.
And then to get to the end and still miss that many is so infuriating. Like, what could I have done?
Nah.
Now I feel like I wasted all my time.
No, you didn't.
But those add so much to the story.
They did.
Shut up.
They did. Those audiobooks were fan.
They do. They add a ton to the story.
And I found that out when I first played the first game. It's like there was some story in there.
Yeah.
And normally a lot of that stuff I skip in other games,
Yeah.
but for some reason they just pull me in, and the voice acting. Yeah.
I look forward to you completing it. You should do that.
I'm gonna aim at trying.
I wish we could have a private chat about it, but that might be a ways off. We'll see. It's good. Finish
good.
it.
It's a good.
Finish it, and then Craig, you start it and finish it.
It's a good.
Get on it.
It's a good.
It's a good.
Because I'd like to explain myself. We started a thread on our forums, the spoiler thread. So if you finish the game, get on there and talk with us, and you can tell me how I'm wrong. I'm making people mad on there. So
I'm just gonna go over to the game and
When
then
are you not?
act like I finished it.
I'm
just 'cause
lovable,
It's already
Craig.
been spoiled, and I'm like, yeah, that part was awesome.
Be like, wasn't it great when the dinosaur appeared?
Craig, that was my problem because I knew too much about Jurassic Park.
Great.
So when it turns out that this is just a Jurassic Park experiment,
Yep.
Jeff
like,
Goldblum
bringing back
shows
the
up.
dinosaurs.
That's
Jeff Goldblum.
Clever girl.
Bioshock.
All right, are we done?
Yes.
Finally.
I also like that it's a total alternate. I'm sorry. I like the fact that it's like
lied.
as such a what if world,
It is very what if.
and that really pulled me in. Like the first one, it felt like this was just a crazed guy that had to go
Yeah,
underwater.
it could be very separated from the rest of the world.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like that. This, like, it just like some of the things and like,
well, because it's actually using real history and then morphing from there.
yeah, some of their heroes. I was like, oh, that's a nice statue. But
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
That statue room, the first time you go there, that monument place, that was amazing too.
pretty badass. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, that's it for us. SignInPodcast.com is our website. Find links to our Twitter. I'm on Twitter at SignInPodcast. Craig is on Twitter at,
The pullist.
and Sean is on Twitter at.
Independent as fuck.
He is not on.
I'm taking that one.
You bet. I'm sure it's already taken.
Yeah, probably. Shonix.
Shonix on Twitter. Find links to our Facebook page, all of our past episodes, our forums, which go over there and tell me how wrong I am about Bioshock. Go read my in-depth thoughts on the end game. But remember, I've changed a little bit since then.
That's right.
I've softened. All right.
That was everybody on the forum just beating
they
that.
did.
Just
And
tenderizing it.
all the other Pseudo Radio shows like The Pull List and 3 Die Block. You can email us at comments@signedinpodcast.com. The next episode, whenever it comes out, again, we're going to be on a little bit of a hiatus probably. So stick with us. We'll be back. And between now and then, I think Dead Island Riptide's coming out.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll play that DC fighting game.
I would like to take a little stab at Defiance and see if it will break my.
Yeah, I've heard some
Xbox.
good things about that.
1 to 1,000 people co-op. That might be weird.
I don't like playing with one other person.
I know. Now you got to play with tons of people you don't even know.
And did you see the Deadly Premonition's coming out for PS3? The director's cut?
Oh, yeah. I'd heard about that a while back. For PS3, yeah.
It's coming out like in a week or two.
Come on, guys.
What? I'm going to replay it. I want other extra stuff.
Nice.
I'm not going to replay it.
Yeah.
But maybe. You never
Yeah,
know.
you are.
What?
You never know. And that's it for us, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.